Okay, so we're going to do a foldable today for percent of a quantity. We just tested on rates, and we're going to move on to percent. So you should have already cut out your foldable into the square. So now we're going to go and we're going to work out these examples. So number 1 says, write the percent as a rate per 100. Change of to times or multiply, and then multiply by the quantity. So let's look at this one right here. 30% of 50. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write the percent as a rate per 100. So we're going to write that over a fraction. So if it's per 100, then it's going to be 30 over 100. Now percent, the word percent means per 100. So anytime you hear the word percent, always think per 100. So 30%, if I write that as a fraction, all it is 30 over 100. Now, what does the word of mean? To do what? It says change of to times, so we're going to multiply. So when you see the word of in multiplication, that means to multiply. So we're going to put the dot because we can't use the X in 6th grade to represent multiplication. Okay, so what am I going to put right here? 30% of 50, so I'm going to put a 50. Now, the only problem is I am multiplying a fraction. So when I multiply a fraction by a whole number, what am I going to have to put under this whole number? I'm going to have to turn this into a fraction, right? Well, if I have a whole number, how do I turn that into a fraction? What do I put as my denominator? Think back. We're going to put a 1. Good. So for 50, draw the fraction bar, and your denominator is going to be 1. So now all we're going to do is multiply fractions. Anytime we're multiplying, we can multiply straight across, but I always like to simplify first. So with simplifying, you're going to look at the ones across from each other, like vertical. So look at the number 50 and 100. What number can go into both 50 and 100 so we can reduce this, Brooklyn? Okay, yes, we can do that. But what about 50? Can 50 go into 100? Yeah. Can 50 go into 50? Yes. So 50 divided by 50 is 1. And then 100 divided by 50 is what? 2. Good. So go ahead and work that out. Now we're going to just multiply straight across. What is 30 times 1? 30. And then what is 2 times 1? 2. Now we're left with 30 over 2. So we have to simplify this fraction. What is 30 divided by 2? 15. That's it. So if I ask you what is 30% of 50, what would the answer be? 15. That's it. Okay, so let's look at the next one. 10% of 100. So we're going to change the percent to a fraction. Remember, what did I tell you percent means? Per 100. So we're going to write 10 over 100. Okay, times, because 10% of 100, we're going to write times. And then we're going to write what? What's our next number? 100. Good. So again, I'm multiplying a fraction by a whole number, but I want that to turn into a fraction. So anytime I'm multiplying fractions and I have a whole number, I'm always going to put a 1 under it to make it a fraction. So now I have a fraction multiplied by a fraction. So 10 over 100 times 100 over 1. Can you simplify anything right now? Look diagonally. What is the greatest common factor of 100 and 100? Well, 100, right? 100 divided by 100 is 1. So that's going to simplify into 1. If I divide both of these by 100, I get 1. So now I'm just going to multiply straight across. 10 times 1 is 10, and then 1 times 1 is 1. Now, can I leave this as 10 over 1? No, what is my final answer if I have anything over a 1? Just 10. Very good. So this is my answer. Anytime you have 1 under it, because 10 divided by 1 is 10. It's the same thing. So if I ask you what is 10% of 100, what would your answer be? 10. 25% of 80. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn that percent into a fraction. So what is 25% as a fraction? 25 over what? Good. So go ahead and write 25 over 100. Anytime you're changing percent into a fraction, it's always going to be that number over 100. Okay, we're going to multiply because it says of. And then 80, we're going to go ahead and write that down. So now we have a fraction times a whole number. Now remember, when multiplying fractions, you have to put a 1 under it to make this a fraction also. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can simplify before I multiply. I have 80 and 100. Both of these are even numbers, right? Both of them end in a 0. So I know there is a factor that I can divide both 80 and 100 by. So what is the greatest common factor that goes into 80 that also goes into 100? 20, good. What is 80 divided by 20? 40, good. And what is 100 divided by 20? 50. Or 5, not 40, I'm sorry. 4 and 5. 80 divided by 20 is 4. 100 divided by 20 is 5. So all we did was we simplified. We found out what our greatest common factor that went into both 80 and 100. And we said that was 20. So 80 divided by 20 gave us 4. 100 divided by 20 gives us 5. So we marked that out and we put 5 right here and we put 4 at the top. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply straight across. 25 times 4. What is 25 times 4? If you have 4 quarters, what do you have? $1. So 4 25s is 100. Good. So 100 over, what is 5 times 1? Okay, can we leave it like this? No, it's an improper fraction. So what is 100 divided by 5? 20. So if I ask you what is 25% of 80, what is the answer? 20. Good. 25% of 80 is 20.